Hello, hello, and welcome. You made it. We are happy to start our event. So I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from today. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Tuesday and week so far. Before we start, I just want to make sure that everyone can see and hear us. So if you can find the chat and let us know where you are joining us from today, that way we'll know we are good to go. While you guys are doing that, let me just tell you that we have a really awesome webinar planned for you guys, and we'll be diving into that in just a couple of moments. But if this is the first time you're joining one of our events, welcome. We host our webinars, roundtables, workshops, and onboarding days to share some insightful information with the SEO community, help you make the most of SEO rankings tools, and hopefully give you some actionable takeaways that will help you boost the traffic to your website. Today, we are going to talk about maximizing brand impact, a unified approach to elevate SEO and branding strategies. My name is Andrew Zarudny, and I'm part of the content marketing team over at SEO Ranking. But today, I can see in the chat that people can see and hear us. I'm seeing people from Maryland, from New York. Great. Happy to have you with us. So yeah, I'm going to be your host for today, but obviously you're not here for me. As always, we have a really cool guest for you guys today. I want to introduce Giuseppe Caltabiano, who is a marketing instructor, a storytelling instructor. He's the vice president of marketing at Rock Content. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. And if you could say a couple of words before we continue.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for having me. Of course, I'm the guy on the left. The guy on the right is my dog, Eddie. Super happy to be here with you today. I think the topic we will cover is super interesting, but we'll see that in a moment. Thank you.
Great. Once again, happy to have you with us. People coming from Mongolia, from Poland. Yeah, we're really stretching the globe today. So really excited that you guys are here. Everybody's here today. Before we start, before I give the word to Giuseppe, let me just quickly say a couple of words about SEO Ranking, who's putting this event together. It is a platform that provides SEO and digital marketing tools built for professionals by professionals. Yeah, we have a lot of tools for agencies, in-house teams, whatever it is that you do in SEO. We have everything for you. We have specifically, you can see that our platform is perfect whether you're a digital agency, own a business, because we have a lot of information to help you beat that learning curve and get acquainted with SEO really well. And plus, we have SEO tools for freelancers, so giving you possibility to do anything that you set your mind to. And thanks to all the hard work that we've put into the tool, thanks to your feedback that we get from our audience, helping us grow. We are now trusted by over 25,000 companies, and looking forward to keeping that number climbing. And yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say. So SEO Rank has over 30 tools for the SEO and digital marketing, and we're constantly growing. We have released a content tool recently, a local marketing tool, and yeah, we're growing. Enough about us. Let's talk more about branding and SEO. And for this, I'm going to give the word to Giuseppe. But before I do, I just want to let you know that if you have any questions, write them into the chat, and I will do my best to ask Giuseppe in the moment, or we will have a dedicated Q&A at the very end where we can further address all the questions. We will send you a replay, and the presentation will go to your inbox, so you don't have to write anything down now. Just soak it all in and ask Giuseppe questions. And yeah, I myself am looking forward to the data that is going to be shared. So Giuseppe, without further ado, the floor is yours, and I'll be here in the background.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So hey everyone, just one very short note about my company. For a simple reason, I will go with some examples and best practices about what we do. So maybe it's better at the beginning to understand what the company does. So Rock Content is a technology company. We are selling content solutions for enterprises, but also small companies and agencies. We sell our Content Cloud, which is basically a software suite, which combine SaaS platform and the global marketplace of creative professional, which is where brands can meet writers can meet brands, and we basically help clients with brand awareness, content creation, activation, and so on and so forth. Raw Content is originally a Brazilian company. It has been founded in 2013, and then it grew organically, but also inorganically. We had 2 acquisitions. The first one, Scribble Live in the United States. The second one last year, Writer Access, which is the content creation platform, 1 year ago, 2022. And that's really the end about my company. So we will discuss today about branding and SEO. But before I start with all details, I think what is important to see is that B2B marketers, in my opinion, are finally starting to recognize which is the critical role that branding has within our marketing strategy. We've been always focusing on activation, short-term, lead generation, which is typical, especially in B2B. But it is crucial to recognize that there is a really symbiotic relationship between branding and SEO, and a unified approach that harmonizes both aspects can bring remarkable results. So let's have a look at how to get to work on building brand impact, enhancing search and SEO, and also achieving a unified approach that drives B2B marketing to success. It is exactly what we will see today. So let me go through the different points. First of all, we will explode all of them later today. But as a starting point, B2B marketing, we already mentioned, we have an obsession with immediate results. It's not our fault. Company numbers are monthly numbers. Our bonuses are based on monthly or quarterly bonuses. Short-termism is a typical problem in a way that B2B companies have. Now, the good thing is we finally recognize that there is something beyond performance marketing. That something is branding. Building a brand involves crafting a distinct identity, fostering trust, creating a lasting memory structure inside buyer's mind. Branding influence is very strong on customer perception. Your brand is what customers think and feel about your company. It's basically the sum of their experiences, perceptions, and interactions within your business. A very well-crafted brand can influence your customer decisions, making them more likely to choose your products or services over competitor. And finally, what we will see today is also 2 interesting concepts, mental and physical availability. Brand impact extends beyond mental recognition. It's about being physical or digital, in our world, available when the customer needs you, basically. We will see this concept just later on. And then we will talk about branding and SEO together. It is important ranking on the SERP, while branding may not be directly associated with SEO. Instead, it plays a crucial role in improving your search engine ranking. A very strong brand enhances credibility, which can lead to higher click-through rates and improved organic ranking. It's also important to create high value, high quality, exceptional content. We know content is king in the digital world, and your brand should reflect that. And finally, UX is critical. You need to optimize your website for UX. User experience is a significant factor in SEO. A well-designed, user-friendly website ensures visitors stay longer and explore more about your site. Finally, we'll discuss about how we can unify this approach. There are some risks in having isolated approach. Isolated branding and SEO efforts can lead to inefficiencies and missed opportunities. In addition, I will show how we in Raw Content integrate both SEO and branding. Finally, we will look at some KPIs. So this is a summary of all the things we will see today. All right, let's start with branding, the concept of branding and why it is so important. It is not uncommon for companies to prioritize short-term goals, lead generation, short-term KPIs, performance marketing, paid advertisement. It's typical. It's easy to work with those activities. It's easy to get numbers from it. It's real-time performance marketing. That's the way we usually do. So these tactics play a very crucial role, of course, in capturing existing demand. But the problem is they alone can build demand. They capture demand, but they cannot build sustainable growth. In order to drive demand, both in B2B and B2C, by the way, we are talking about both domains, brand must be recognized as a critical, important role. And we need to balance this short-term initiative with long-term initiative, which are, again, branding awareness campaign. Short-term initiatives are mostly for capturing demand. Long-term brand awareness initiatives are for generating demand. So you generate demand with brand awareness, and then you capture demand. The problem is generating demand is not a short-term activity. It takes time. You need to invest time, you need to create content, you need to go with the branding campaign. It is a long-term activity. So in essence, it's really the synergy of both short-term and long-term strategies that sets a brand on a trajectory towards sustainable success. By striking the right balance between the two things, you can capture immediate demand while laying the groundwork for future growth. In today's competitive market, it's not enough to just capture demand. You must also be proactive in generating it. And again, the only way to generating it is brand awareness, brand building. So remember, while short-term initiatives are essential for the present, for today, it's the long-term brand building that will secure your future. And in order to clarify further this point, I need to go back to the theory. So that was mentioned by several authors. I will remember Binet and Field, two British authors that explain their book Effectiveness in Context, that there are two main ways marketing work. The blue line, brand building, is when you create memories. You create memory structure that influence behavior over the long term. They are usually characterized by very emotional kind of content. And then you have activation or performance or lead generation, which is the red line that triggers those memories to convert people, readers, prospects into leads. It's what we call lead generation in B2B. So activation is marketing that evokes an immediate behavioral response without necessarily affecting long-term memories. Messaging in the first case is emotional, branding. In the second case is very rational and logic, which is activation, performance, lead gen. All marketing activities have both brand and activation effect, but usually the mix is very different depending on your targeting, your copy, your medium. There are many differences. Evidence suggests that there is a trade-off between brand and activation. Activities, campaigns that are very good at one usually tend to be poor at the other. So that's really what you need to do, going with both. Now, the problem is how to balance them. It's challenging. Yeah, you need to balance long and short, brand and activation. So whenever you, as a marketing strategist, you design your marketing strategy, you are supposed to know more or less what kind of balance you need to do. You need to understand how to balance faster return marketing technique with slow return brand building technique. And of course, this is valid also for content marketing, not just general marketing. So you need to balance the two velocities. Too much activation, too much performance may create too little demand and strong conversion, but with limited growth, which is the case on the left. Too much brand building, the case on the right, risk to build a strong level of demand, but then you have a weak levels of conversion. The right way is the way in the middle, where you basically, in order to get sustainable long-term growth, you need to have good level of demand and at the same time, good level of conversions. Trying to translate this into a classic funnel, here is how it looks like. The blue section on the left is brand building. The red or pink section on the right is the performance marketing or lead generation. Only a combination and balance of the two will guarantee sustainable growth. Now, let me go with a different concept, with a new concept. We're still talking about the theory, and now the connection between search, SEO, and brand will be even more clear. Now, what we define mental availability is the propensity of the brand to be thought or notice in buying situation. In other words, brands with high mental availability are easy to remember in relevant buying situations. And then you have the physical availability, which is probably most for B2C, but it's basically when buyers can find and buy your brand. Now think about that. In the digital world, physical availability is search, SEO. So consumers cannot buy what is not physical available to them. So now you see the connection. And exactly how it happens with products on a shelf whenever you go to the food store, if they're not showing up, if you are not showing up organically, well, you're not easy or convenient to buy from, and someone else will be, so your competition will be. So the way to win in the search channel is to show up as often as possible. So that's why search can be considered as physical availability, which is one of the two concepts we have just seen. And this means showing up enough in the hope that whenever the prospect is ready to buy, they will choose you because you educated them, first of all, but they can also find you easily. So site visits impact memory and create memory structure, build mental and physical availability with organic rankings, and then use PPC to laser target your gaps and test greater sales opportunities. So you see how there is a mutual collaboration, a mutual connection between search and SEO and branding. In fact, branding and SEO, in a few words, help each other. A very strong brand identity can improve search engine ranking, while SEO and search can boost online visibility and increase brand awareness. So first of all, ranking on the SERP means increasing physical availability online, so digital availability, organic traffic, and brand awareness. In addition, you need to create exceptional content, which means brand recognition as an authority in a specific knowledge niche, which increases mental availability. And finally, you need to optimize your website for UX, which means keeping users engaged continuously, and also increasing mental availability and creating brand ambassadors. All right, so let's start to move to the SEO side. So let's keep our focus on ranking and online availability. First of all, there are many ways, and we will, I'm sure you are already familiar with many of them, but we will go through all of them. So first of all, we should focus on content that is not only optimized for search engines, it is also tailored to meet the needs of your audience. It has to be high quality, informative, and very valuable content that has a very key role in improving user experiences, encouraging longer stays on your website. That's what we call on-page SEO. And then about the off-page SEO, you need to network with other sites and brands to build health backlinks profiles. This is important to enhance brand online presence and credibility. We go back to the online or physical availability concept. We have already seen this concept, how SERP work as a virtual storefront, basically. And for this reason, we will need, for an attractive and compelling meta description, for example, or title to entice users to click through the website. It's important to be available through both organic search and direct search. You need to ensure minimum visibility and accessibility. And finally, you need to build engagement. And to build engagement, you have to create a welcoming and user-friendly website environment, including intuitive navigation, fast loading times, mobile responsiveness. It is also important to foster brand commitment through loyalty programs, for example, exclusive offers, and an exceptional customer service. All of these make ranking and online availability on top. Okay, let's go next and let's focus on the brand impact. What you see here are real examples of one of our branding campaigns. So the question is, how can your brand be remembered? How can your brand become memorable? How can you facilitate the creation of those memory structures that we've mentioned earlier? Well, putting yourself in the mind of customer is not easy. The primary question should be addressing on what kind of situations, what moments in their lives in the lives of your potential customers, could your brand come to mind? Then, as soon as you identify these moments, which, by the way, are called category entry points, you need to connect your brand to these category entry points. Category entry points are not necessarily functions or pains, job-related pains of your potential customers. Can also be emotional or motivational moments. Think about my company target persona, which is basically a marketing manager or demand or content manager. This audience is not necessarily 100% driven by lead gen. I mean, you may think that lead generation, content creation are the main pain points. They definitely are. They are important, but at the same time, this persona can be also driven by personal reward, emotional situation, being fired, being successful. So you need to consider all these moments, which are job related, but also emotionally related. And then you need to find them and try to link those memories to your brand, which is what we are trying to do with our brand campaign, as you can see. So summarizing, identify your category entry points, which are again the moment where those situations, those moments in the life of your customers where your brand may come to mind to your potential customers. And then as soon as you identify them, of course, you build the branding campaign all around them. You can also see that we are using humor and funny situations. You know, we attach music to our company name, which is rock content. Using emotion, using humor, make your brand distinctive. So you may be easily remembered versus other brands. So even if you work in B2B, don't be afraid about using emotions. Don't be afraid about using humor. The important point is identifying those situations where your potential buyers may remember your brand and push and connect your brand with those situations. And then, of course, content is king. I mean, this is something that we repeat since many, many years. Having a very well-defined content plan aligned with a branding strategy is critical. You need to create high-value content. You need to create high-quality content. I mean, it's not just a matter of valuable. You need to have content which is accurate, up-to-date, relevant, of course, for your potential customers. And finally, you need to identify and push your strategic keyword. So you need to identify keywords that rank higher on the SERP, but at the same time, user experience should always come before SERP-related tactics. The nature of keyword trends is very dynamic, and we need to adapt the content strategy accordingly to stay relevant and yet evergreen. You have to integrate strategic keywords seamlessly into content to improve search ranking while ensuring natural and engaging language. And then don't forget about the design. Don't forget about UX. You need to go with optimized web design. It's always important understanding user needs, behaviors, and preferences in designing a website that really resonate with the target audience. Responsive design is critical, may ensure that the website functions seamlessly across various devices and screen size. And we know how this is important today, considering the proliferation of screens, content types, devices, and so on and so forth. User experience enhancement, like interactivity, is also critical. Think about new ways of building content, like interactive content. Interactive elements like videos, quizzes, assessment, product views, they enhance user engagement and they provide an immersive experience. Sometimes we talk in content slang saying that we are building Netflix-like content experiences. This is nothing else than building episodic experiences. So each element can stand alone, each content element, but at the same time, the connection of elements is really where your content will be different from all the others. So personalized content, product recommendation based, they are all interactive content. They are all elements that improve your user experience. And finally, why not? You should encourage user-generated content. It's very powerful in building social proof, trust, and credibility for your brand. Of course, there is a risk in going with an isolated approach. Inconsistent brand messaging is a big risk for your brand, and you should avoid it. You should go with consistent brand messaging across all online platforms. Conflicting message can confuse customers and readers and can also make weaker your brand identity. And finally, misaligned branding and SEO strategies can lead to content with contradicting brand messaging. Other risks, misaligned keywords, difficulty in reputation management, and wasted resources. For example, an isolated approach to branding and SEO can result in a very inefficient use of resources, both in terms of time and budget. All right, how do we do in raw content? We manage critical keywords and pages, first of all, to ensure maximum brand exposure. At the same time, we protect rankings and traffic. So our expertise lies in managing critical keywords, optimizing specific web pages to guarantee not only a prominent online presence, but also, in a way, protection and improvement of our search engine rankings and website traffic. Second point, we continuously fine-tune and improve our website performance through testing, experimentation, optimization. And then we include multimedia elements. Remember, interactivity. We understand the power of visual and interactive content in today's digital landscape. Our approach includes incorporating multimedia elements, images, videos, infographics, interactive features within our web pages, blog posts, and articles. And this is not just to enhance the aesthetical appeal, but also to offer a more immersive, remember the Netflix model, immersive content experience for our audience. We work to elevate our online reputation. And finally, we constantly create high-value content to keep engaging and enlightening our audience. Our effort to ranking high on SERP bring in more traffic, but also increase brand exposure. So there is always this connection between search, SEO, and branding. Our high-quality articles placed in the first position, so on top of the search, create some kind of everlasting image in user mind. So those memories we mentioned multiple times, and what our brand stands for and looks like. Achieving top rankings and building a strong brand presence is, of course, critical. There are multiple ways: maximizing SERP ranking for increasing brand exposure, creating a lasting brand image through high-quality articles, for example, or aspiring to be an authority and trusted resource in your field. In summary, our approach to SEO and brand building is really connected. It is strongly connected with the ambition of ranking high on SERP, first of all, but also increasing brand exposure, because we know that the two things are so interconnected. The high-quality content we create not only secure top positions, but also conveys a memorable brand image. In the end, our long-term objective is to establish our brand as an authority in the content space, in the content marketing space, and a very reliable resource within the digital marketing landscape. And then, again, don't forget to elevate your user experience. At the heart of what we do is making sure that our users have the best experience possible. We want our content to be more than just good. We want people to remember it. We want it to be outstanding. And these are some of the ways we do it. First of all, we don't just want our content to blend in. We want to stand out. So that's why you will find very eye-catching images, engaging videos, informative infographics, dynamic calculators, interactive calculators, and even interactive quizzes. It's all about keeping it fresh and exciting and engaging for the audience. At the same time, we use a lot of creativity. We blend creativity and data. We try to create those interactive pages. And we, by the way, have a secret weapon, which is one of our products. It's called Ion. Ion is a tool to build interactive pages. So we use our own products to make our page even better in terms of visual and creativity. And finally, our goal is not just to create content. We are here to provide a real value for the content. So we want our content to be useful, entertaining, and of course, we want to talk about our products as well. And in terms of product-focused content, well, here is how we create it. Our content is not just theory. Of course, we mentioned some theories and some marketing principles, but it's really based on our own journey as marketers. And we want to keep it real. We share our ups and downs. This is one of the things we do in our blog. We are not really shy about our wins and losses. So we talk about, the best thing we do, our best practices, but at the same time, we also talk about the lessons learned. Sometimes we fail, and we explain how we failed and how we will not keep failing on that specific initiative or topic. So we cover both. We try to connect with an audience that knows and understand what we do. And, it's like mentoring people. So you really need to explain the ups and downs. And finally, we go very hands-on with our products. So we are not holding back on our own experiment with our products. Just a few moments ago, I mentioned about Ion. Ion is a tool which we're selling to the customers, but at the same time, we're using in our marketing department to build interactive experiences. So you really get an insider look at how our solution work whenever you have a look at our content. And we share best practices for using each of those products. So when our readers dive into our content, they're not just getting knowledge, they're really getting some kind of backstage pass to our expertise. We also create events and webinars which are called Backstage, where we explain basically all the things we do behind the scenes with our products, how we build our pages, how we build our content, how we build our communities, and we tell, again, ups and downs within our content. So that's how we talk about our products. And finally, let's have a look at some real KPIs. First one on the left, impressions per month. It's about 39 millions. We have 3 websites, English, in Spanish, and in Portuguese. And we keep a very close eye on monthly organic impressions. The more keywords we have ranking high on the SERP, the higher is the number of impressions. So that's the reason why we put so much attention to SEO and search. And of course, as a consequence, more impactful is brand exposure. One more time, we talk about connection between search, SEO, and branding. We have more than 3,000 sessions per month. We measure sessions, which is key for tracking SEO effectiveness, in our opinion. But its growth also shows that our content is becoming more and more interesting for our users. So we monitor, as I mentioned, 3 websites in 3 languages. Our English website actually is the last one that has been built. It has been created in 2019. So it's only 3.5, 4 years, more or less. But thanks to our SEO and branding strategies, has been resulting in a very consistent growth year by year. And then you can see also qualified user month. Our current branding and SEO efforts aim to position raw content as an authority player in the US and North American market. So for that reason, measuring the share of users coming from a specific geographical area is key for us to understand if we are meeting our objective with our specific audience. And finally, engagement rate, 46.7. We measure engagement rate on our content. This is a complementary metric, page per sessions, for example, time spent on page and bounce rate, but these are also critical. All right, so summarizing. First of all, we should not forget that in addition to performance marketing, there is another element, which is branding marketing. The combination of branding and performance is extremely powerful. And as B2B marketers, we tend to go with performance marketing mostly because it's real time, it's easy to measure, it gives immediately results, while branding is long term, it's complex to measure, but it's really the combination of the two elements that will give you this kind of powerful approach to your brand. We also have seen that brand and search SEO should go together. There are multiple connections between them. We have explored the concept of mental and physical availability and why they matters. We have also seen that being ranked on top of Google search means being physical available. So it's really how products are on the shelf of a food store. And finally, we have seen a couple of best practices from raw content in terms of content creation, in terms of UX, in terms of how we engage our prospects and readers using interactive content. And finally, just a few examples from our branding campaign. I want to close before the Q&A with a special offer we have for the attendees of this webinar. It's credits, it's content credits. So if you go to that URL, writeraccess.com/75-content-credit, you can enter free of charge with a free trial. And you can invest 75 credits to build content. Basically, this is a marketplace. So you will have the possibility to look for writers. You may match writers with their specialties and the industry niche they are good at, and you can match with your brand, of course, with the industry you are in. And finally, you can do a test and create some free content using these credits. Again, this is just a limited offer. I think it's valid until the end of the month, Friday the 27th of October. You have 14 days of free trial. Just try and test it. And that's really it from me. I think, Andrew, there are many questions, but you tell me, please, how to move on.
Yeah. I wanted to get started, but obviously the information that you shared is great. But I'm really interested in learning how you went from a new company to a company that is seeing these results, how you got to getting benefits from branding after you've put in the work for SEO. And one of the questions that our audiences has in connection with this is, hold on, it's here. Did you make a shift in your target audience over the years? So how, just to piggyback on this question, I want to ask a follow-up is, did you transition like every year? Do you make a transition to see what your goals are? Because obviously you have to set bigger goals than your results, just to be more aspirational. But in terms of raw content's development, has there been a significant shift in the target audience that has maybe transformed the way you approach things? And and I'll ask the other questions later on.
No, let me say, this is a very good question, by the way. And consider this. Raw content started with a blog. It was a blog in Portuguese. So this is really part of our DNA. And then the blog became a company. The company started to acquire other companies in South America, and then acquisition in North America. So did you make a shift in your target audience? not really, if we exclude the geography. Geographically, yes, we moved from a very local audience to a global audience. Today, North America is our main market, and we know marketers in North America are more sophisticated than other countries. So in a way, we have switched our focus to a different kind of marketers. But the reality is, since the beginning, the target audience has always been marketers or people who write content. I mean, it can be marketers, can be sales. Anyone who potentially write content is a potential buyer. So in terms of persona and audience, not really. I mean, that's really our target, people who build content, people who build content experiences for their clients. That's really what has always been our target audience. Geographically, yes, we have switched from local in a specific continent to global to a different content. And of course, we had to learn a lot of lessons, by the way, because moving in a new country or a new content, and I know because I'm European, and we know how many languages and different cultures we have in our continent. And that's the same, by the way, for Asia, for instance. I mean, we know that. So it's not easy, but that's basically what we have done in the last 3-4 years since the last acquisitions.
Appreciate your answer. Giuseppe, we have another question about raw content. What is the ratio of updating content versus creating new content pieces?
Also, very good question. It's definitely much higher in terms of content creation, new content creation for the English website versus the Portuguese and Spanish website, for a simple reason. The other languages, in a way, enjoy some kind of big brand reputation in their respective countries. So we go more with the refreshing old content, maybe creating some new content, but the ratio is definitely not creating new content. It's more refreshing, updating, maybe adding, some small pieces. And that's for the other languages. For the English language, it's all about new content creation. Of course, we still have some kind of maintenance for other old pieces of content, but the ratio is more going with the new content creation. So it really depends on how strong your brand is. And if I compare South America versus North America, our brand recognition in North America is not so strong like it is in the South. And that's the reason, basically, why we adopt a different kind of strategy. We still have one team, by the way, it's one unique content team, but the way they approach the different languages is different. So back to the question, there are multiple answers, unfortunately. It really depends on new geographies, new audiences. In that case, I suggest to go with more content, new content creation versus maintenance and refreshing old content creation. Vice versa, whenever your brand is strong and you can finally enjoy a strong brand recognition, well, in that case, you may relax in a way and go with more maintenance and refreshing old stuff instead of necessarily creating new content, new pieces of content.
Thank you. Another question is, how should small businesses approach the integration of SEO and branding strategies differently compared to larger enterprises? Is there even a difference in the approach?
Well, one more time, we started our company. I was not there at that time. Started as a small blog in Portuguese. I will say we never changed our SEO approach since the beginning. So we are doing exactly the same stuff we did when the company was a single blog in one language. So my suggestion is don't necessarily change. I mean, you can be more relaxed when you gain brand recognition, brand authority. But still, SEO is critical. When I hire content people, we usually go with the not necessarily writers. We tend to go with the SEO experts. Then eventually we hire writers inside the marketplace. And then, of course, you need to balance SEO with the user experience. But in general, my answer is we're not changing our approach. We're still using exactly the same SEO model we had 9 years ago, 10 years ago, when the company was a small blog. So no change. Today, by the way, just for you to understand, we are a 350 people startup company. It's a 10 years company. I mean, we are not huge. We are in mid-size. But just to give you the context, we never changed the model we had.
So I'm hoping that's good news for our listeners. That means that there's no revolution that's happening along the way. You just have to be true to yourself. Like be unique, right? Like your company has to be unique, right? One, and you have to do the SEO properly. And then is the branding going to come eventually on its own? If you do
Exactly.
Okay.
You're saying right, Andrew. And I mean, consider again, when we entered the US market 4 years ago in 2019 with the 2 acquisitions, basically we had to start again, all over again. We were very strong in a specific part of the world, but absolutely not well known, actually not known at all in the United States and North America. And that's the reason why we had to start again, reusing the same model we had many years ago with that small blog in Portuguese.
Did the previous experience in South America help to a certain degree in entering the US market? Or because you said like you had to basically start from scratch, but obviously some things in the past, maybe you had a funnel that worked, like an idea that worked, and you transformed it for the US market. And but basically the question is, did the previous experience of the company help in any way?
It definitely did. But at the same time, there were new things happening. The market is much more mature in North America versus South America. The potential buyers are more sophisticated in North America versus South America. They know what content marketing is. In South America, the company was really the first one introducing content marketing as a discipline. In North America, we were the last one. So there are many differences. But of course, yes, I mean, back to your question, we reused the lesson learned, but at the same time we had to learn new lessons, which is, by the way, the reason why they hired me in 2019, because I had experience with the North American and European market, and they needed someone, and Raw Content at that time needed someone with some more experience and familiarity over the content marketing market in North America. So yes and no. There were some new lessons we all learned, but of course, I mean, we had to leverage on all the things we gained in the years before the acquisitions.
Thank you. We have other questions. Let me bring them up on the screen. So how should we measure the impact of our brand's SEO and branding strategies on customer engagement and loyalty? It's a pretty difficult question, but here we have it.
Brand SEO and branding strategy. Well, there are many KPIs you can use. You've seen some of them, I think. We use traffic, we use engagement. We monitor every single keyword, strategic keyword, week after week, and we see where they move in terms of strategic position. And in terms of branding, we use share of search, which means considering the overall market. So your company plus the competitors, how much people search for your brand versus the overall search. So you can do this with Google Trends. You can do this with SEMrush and other tools. You can do this with SE ranking. Probably, I'm not very familiar with the tool, but I assume you can do this as well. But basically, the point is, you need to understand if the search volume of your brand is changing versus the overall market search volume. So you put together the competition, or at least the main competitors who are very close to your business, and then you see how things change. It's not a daily KPI. I mean, it can change on a daily basis. We repeat this kind of measurement every 6 months, and then you see if in a specific country for a specific language, your brand has been searched more or less, and how much is the percentage versus the overall market, basically. So there are many ways. The ones I mentioned are just some of them, but hopefully I gave you some advice.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Giuseppe. We have another question from Raymond. Yeah, let's talk about the challenges. So you have your SEO goals, you have your branding goals. Are there any, let me just read the question. What are the common challenges in aligning SEO and branding strategies, and how can they be overcome? So I'm just imagining like you have maybe a certain brand goal and an SEO goal. How do you combine that into something that makes sense for the company to move forward?
Yeah, the two things are deeply interconnected, and you've seen probably this in my presentation.
Yeah.
Branding helps SEO in terms of mental availability. If your brand is very strong, people will remember your brand, they will start to search, they will go to your website. At the same time, you're also the other way around. So if you show up on top of search, organically or inorganically, it's like you are on top of the shelf, and people who are searching for some stuff, they will see your brand, even if they don't really know what you do, but they may click and then they go basically and start to learn about your brand. So the challenge is really trying to balance the two things. If your brand is not super strong, you will not get benefits in terms of SEO. And if you don't properly go with organic and inorganic campaigns, and if you don't show up for specific search, you will not be physical or digitally available, and people will simply not click on you because they will not find you whenever they are looking for whatever. So the real challenge is find this kind of balance, this kind of equilibrium between the two things. It's not easy. I mean, it's something that you learn doing every single day. And maybe when your brand is not super strong, you go more with the SEM and SEO and vice versa. So it really depends on the market, the situation, how strong is your brand. But this is, I would say, the big challenge. Try to balance the two things and have the two things working, well interconnected together.
All right. If there aren't any more questions, I'm gonna end it with one more question. So from me is so for example, I know what makes my brand unique, and I have an SEO strategy. You've mentioned that branding is something that just comes along if I do everything correctly. Is there anything else that I can do to specifically boost my brand, or like not mention, but recognition? Just my brand strategy goals, because from what I understand right now is if I'm doing everything correctly on that end, I'll get the results on branding. But is there something I can do specifically to push the brand? Maybe, I don't know, go to an offline event and promote our brand there.
Yeah, there are many ways. One of the things we found working pretty well is co-marketing activities. For a simple reason, I mean, in the end, what is branding is putting your brand in front of the eyes of all potential buyers, which is nearly impossible unless you have a huge budget, and then you can invest, and do PPC or search and whatever. But one good thing we do, which is pretty inexpensive, is it is difficult. It's finding partners. For example, we are partnering with HubSpot. We're very complementary, but we're not definitely competitive. We're much smaller than them, but we do something together because we help with lead generation. They do marketing. We can combine the two things together. We are partner of HubSpot, by the way. So we launch many campaigns together. The last one is a simple ebook about lead generation, which was written by both. Another one, which was much bigger, 3 months ago, they launched the State of Marketing Report or State of Content Marketing Report, and we were part of it. So we contributed to create content and to promote this. Why I'm saying that this is a good way? Because their audience is much, much bigger than ours. And whenever we agree to do co-marketing activities, of course, we will benefit from the full lead generation, not just our side, but the full lead generation. And as you can imagine, the quantity, of leads and the exposure they have is much bigger than ours. So this is a beautiful way, in my opinion, and pretty inexpensive. I mean, if you do consider, of course, the time spent in creating content, looking for the right interfaces and partners with these guys and so on and so forth. But from a direct investment standpoint, it's inexpensive. And the beauty is, if you do co-marketing with companies which are complementary to what you do and at the same time are much, much bigger in terms of brand authority than your brand, well, you definitely get a lot of exposure. We're doing the same with the HubSpot. We are partnering with Wix, which is much, much bigger than us. So this is a common approach I usually take, especially, again, whenever my budget is not huge, whenever I enter a new geography, I try to find partners and go with clever co-marketing activities.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
This has been great, and I have a couple of slides to share before we finish up. And I just want to remind everybody the rightaccess.com 75 content credits. You can go to that website and check out what raw content can help you with, and maybe you can reach out to Giuseppe via social media if you want to have get his more of his input on SEO and branding. And in the meantime, let me just quickly say that if you haven't tried SEO ranking yet, you're welcome to take advantage of our expanded free trial that offers access to all of our tools. That you're welcome to check that out and see how we can help you out, because we have a lot of different tools, from content creation to research to backlinks. I mean, you name it, we try to have it. Well, the only one we're working on is social media. We need a bit more work with that. And since I mentioned the content editor tool, you can take advantage of this special offer and use the promo code content15 to get an extra 15% off. That means extra. When I say extra, it means on top of the 20% discount we give out annually, not to annual subscriptions. So be sure to take that into account and try it out, because our tool not only helps you just write content, but it shows you all the SEO data that you need to make sure that it is optimized for search engines and for obviously readers as well. And another slide is if you want to subscribe to SEO Ranking, you're welcome to join our community where your peers and us discuss different matters of SEO and SEO Ranking. We have different questions for you guys, giveaways. We discuss different matters. We have an SEO news that weekly digest. So yeah, you can stay in the SEO loop more easily. And let me see if we have any other slides. Yeah, we have a lot of different courses out on the SEO Ranking Academy. So which comes free of charge once you subscribe to SEO Ranking. And we have a course about basic SEO. So going from SEO 0 to SEO hero. We have a content SEO course. We have a course that help you promote your agency. And we're also going to release soon an SEO Ranking in action to help our users master our tools and the platform as a whole. I'm hoping that that's probably last but not least almost, but there's one more slide I know for sure. We have a Do Follow podcast. You're welcome to try. We have already 10 episodes out. I'm working on the 11th one, recording another one this week, actually. So yeah, that is also rolling. And we have a lot of different guests. We actually have Morty Oberstein from Wix a couple of weeks ago. And we have a lot of different people. So check that out. yeah, I'll be happy because it is hosted by yours truly, and I try to do my best to have a decent discussion with our experts. Yeah, and last but not least, we also have Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, X. So you're welcome to reach out to us wherever. On YouTube, we have this webinar will be on YouTube, and we have a lot of different videos up there. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to share. Once again, I want to remind about rock content. Check out the right axis link. Yeah, and I'll be happy to have Giuseppe join us in the future too. And I'll be looking forward to find out how you are doing in the US, whether you are taking on any other markets, how you've been doing. And yes, I'll be looking forward to that and wishing you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, guys.